I want to talk to you today about two properties that I purchased this year. So I'm going to talk about the exact regions where I purchased these properties, the suburbs I got them in, the purchase price, and the equity that I gained from one of those properties. My name is Jathu. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a buyer's agent for property investors, and I buy properties all around Australia using a data-driven approach. So if you want to work with me, go to my website propertyframeworkbuyersagency.com.au and book a session with me there. Now let's talk about these two properties. These two properties were both purchased under discretionary trust structures using a company as a corporate trustee. Now the reason for doing this was mainly to preserve borrowing capacity. When these properties become positively geared and can take care of themselves, I simply need to get a letter from an accountant stating that these properties can trade profitably, and the banks will ignore the debt on these properties and be willing to lend me more money to buy more properties. So that was the thinking behind buying these properties under a trust structure. Now, a trust structure does have its pros and cons, so please do speak to a professional before you engage in something like this. Now, the first property was purchased in the region of Gladstone in central Queensland. Why Gladstone was chosen? Because it was a really undervalued region. It only had about 2% growth per annum over the last 10 years. Now, to give you some more details about Gladstone, the Gladstone economy has a GRP of about 20 billion. It has a population of about 60,000 people, and it's not just an economy which is just reliant on one or two industries. As you can see from this chart, there are several industries powering that Gladstone economy, mainly manufacturing, construction, healthcare, retail trade, and education and training, and several other industries. Manufacturing is the one that contributes the most to the GRP, contributing almost 50% to Gladstone's GRP. Okay, so we don't really see Gladstone as a mining related town, because we do see that there are several industries which are creating jobs in that local economy. Okay, the unemployment rate in Gladstone is now sitting at 5%, which is really healthy for that region. In terms of the major investments that are happening in Gladstone, we are seeing massive investments into the renewable energy sector, especially green hydrogen projects. So billions are being spent on creating a renewable energy precinct, and that will create thousands of jobs over the next few years. So these jobs will definitely have an impact on Gladstone's property market. Okay, now if you look at the market pressure in Gladstone, this first chart from CoreLogic shows the sales volume over the past 10 years. So until 2020, you can see that the sales volumes have been really low. And since 2021, they have been rising really sharply. And as of 24, you can see that the sales volume has almost tripled that of the past few years. So a really rapid rise in sales activity in the Gladstone region. We are also seeing the days on market steadily reducing, sitting at around 80 days a couple of years ago, and now sitting close to 40 days and continuing to reduce. If you see the housing inventory, we are seeing that sit around 4 months of inventory around October last year, and then that has been steadily reducing as well, moving towards that 3 months of inventory and lower. So we are starting to move towards a seller's market, and market pressure is really building up in that region. Vacancy rates are clearly under 1%, so rental demand is very strong in that Gladstone region. So market pressure is really high here, and we have not have much growth in the past. So this means there is going to be a lot of growth coming through in that Gladstone region over the next few years. In terms of the suburbs, the suburb I selected was Kincora. This is a suburb which is close to Gladstone CBD, and it's actually a lower socio suburb. Now, this property was listed on the market as offers over $299,000, and similar 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom houses with similar land component was selling anywhere between the mid to high 300s at that time. Now, this property did have some work on it. It wasn't the perfect property. The bathroom needed work, the carpets needed to be changed, the kitchen needed work, and therefore I was able to purchase it slightly under market value at $320,500. So I needed to do some work on that property, had to spend around $22,000 of work on that property, and this was mainly renovations on the bathroom, changing the carpets, and doing other minor maintenance stuff. After all the work was done, the property was rented out at $500 per week, so fairly healthy rental yield. And I did a recent valuation, and the bank valuation came back at $400,000. And I also got an agent to do an appraisal, and they came back saying that the property would sell anywhere between $420,000 to $440,000 in today's market. So factoring in the purchase price $320,000, the renovation $22,000, so that brings it to $342,000. The current value, market value, is around $420,000. So that's about $80,000 of equity that has been gained over the 5 months. Now, this was through organic market movement because the market is also moving really fast in Gladstone now, and some of it also came through that equity uplift through the renovation that I did. So that was the first property. Now let's move to the second property. So this is in a different state in Western Australia, in the region of Geraldton. So Geraldton is a city which is 5 hours north of Perth. Similar to Gladstone, it's a very undervalued region. It didn't really have much growth over the past 10 years. Only around 2% or maybe slightly higher, right? So really undervalued region that we're talking about. The population in Geraldton is around 40,000 people, and the GRP is around 8 billion. As you can see from this chart, there are several industries that are powering that Geraldton economy. So it's not just reliant on 1 or 2 industries. Mining is the biggest contributor to the economy, contributing about 20% roughly to the GRP, but we also see that there are other industries here which are creating jobs. So we can't really say that Geraldton is a mining town because there are many other industries too. In terms of the unemployment rate, Geraldton is now sitting at 3%, which is one of the lowest numbers in the country. So a lot of jobs being created in that Geraldton region, and that's the reason why that unemployment is really low. Now let's look at the investments into the Geraldton region. Well, again, similar to Gladstone's, we're seeing a lot of investment in the renewable energy space, and that's further going to diversify the economy. There's going to be some expansion on the Geraldton port as well, which will create more jobs into the future. Now let's look at the market pressure in Geraldton. As you can see here, sales volume have been steadily increasing since 2021, and there has been a sharp increase over the past 3 years, showing that there's a significant increase in market activity in that region. The days on market has been steadily reducing. Now you can see that it was around that 120 days a couple of years ago, and now it's moving towards 60 days and further reducing. So that's signs showing that demand for property is increasing in that region. The housing inventory has been reducing from 6 months the last year, and it's moving towards 3 months of inventory. So the inventory is also tightening up in this region. The vacancy rates are under 1% again, so a really tight rental market in the Geraldton region. Okay, so this is indicating that there's really high market pressure and prices are starting to move up in that Geraldton region. Now the suburb I selected was Rangeway. Rangeway is a lower social suburb, and the property that I selected was a big block of land, 800 meter square block of land. It was a freestanding house. It had 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, but it also had subdivision potential, meaning that I could keep the existing house and subdivide and build a house at the back, which was actually a bonus. Now this property was just purchased last month, so September 2024. So there's not much results I can show right now. So that's the purchase, the second purchase, which was in the city of Geraldton. Now the reason why I shared these two properties with you was just to show you that I'm not just putting clients in these markets. I'm actually buying properties there myself, because I do believe in the strength of these markets and how much growth these markets will have into the future. So I hope you found this content useful, guys. I'll be producing more content like this in the future. Please do like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.